Okay, so these are going to be the boxes that hold the e-collar, and this holds all the tools that we're going to be using. So first thing is learning how to turn on and off the transmitter. There's an on and off button. Out of both of these black buttons, it's the bottom one. You click and hold until you see the blue light turn on. Once the blue light's on, we're good to go. And then when we have our receiver, to turn it on, we have this little red dot, and we have another little red dot on the back of the transmitter. When we hold these over, we have to touch them directly. Whenever we touch them together, the green light turns on. And then when we touch them again, it shuts off. So at night, what you're gonna wanna do is shut the receiver off, and that'll save a lot of battery. Typically the receiver, you're able to go 3 days without charging it, especially if you shut it off every night. But if you use it often with the dog, like higher level stems, frequently stemming, something like this, you're probably gonna need to charge it every night. So it kind of varies, but it's a good habit to get into, to shut it off at night. So we're gonna turn it on this time, and then we're gonna hold them together until it starts flashing. Once it starts flashing, we're gonna hold the on and off button and then tap this top black button. And that's how to pair them. And then to make sure, I'm gonna tap the button. We have the red light showing, means that we're good to go. If it's at a 0, I don't know if you can see that, and I click the button, it's gonna seem like it's not paired. So you have to turn it to a level 1 or higher to show that there's stimulation. Okay, and then to shut it back off, we hold it together. And just to do that one more time, to pair it, we take these two, put them together. Once the green light starts flashing, we click and hold the on-off button, and then this black center button here. Oop, we have to be on I shut it off. You have 5 seconds. There, perfect. Okay, we're good to go. So what happens a lot is you'll be walking your dog, and then all of a sudden the e-collar seems to be either too high or too low, and you can't get lower if you're too high, and you can't get higher if you're too low. Typically what happens is if you check the top of the screen, you'll see this one dog. It's a 1D flashing at the top of the screen. The reason it's flashing, that means that the level is not locked. So I can scroll up and I can scroll down on stimulation. Sometimes you accidentally, instead of clicking this top button, people will click this button here. And if you click and hold that button above a level 0, that 1D will stop to flash. It'll stop flashing. Yep, and then it'll just become locked like that. And now the level is locked. So if I scroll up on this dial, but then I click that number is only gonna click at the level that it was held at. So you can't scroll up, that number is locked in place. So to get it off, you just click and hold the P button once again, and then that 1D will start flashing. Let me know, yep. Okay, and then now we're good to go. So that's a very common problem that a lot of people have. Okay, so it comes with the lanyard as well. This is something that definitely needs to go on. I see, like you could put the e-collar in your pocket or the transmitter in your pocket, but what happens is you're gonna see your pup do something bad, and then you're not gonna be able to, a lot of people, they struggle to get it out of their pocket. And then if the dog does something bad, or you need to call its focus back to you, but the e-collar is not in your hands or close and easily accessible, then you're gonna miss that crucial moment to communicate with the dog whether what they're doing is right, wrong, or indifferent. So what I recommend is taking the lanyard and clipping it to the top of the transmitter, and then just keeping this on you, hanging it around your neck from morning to night until all of your problems are solved, until you can call your dog's name and they coming back, or they give you focus and they come back if you give them the recall command. So it's really important to have the transmitter on you at all times and easily accessible. Okay. So this is the charging station that comes with the mini educator. I think this is oh, it doesn't matter. On the receiver, which is waterproof, by the way, your dog can swim in it and still have the e-collar on just fine, but you want to be careful because the skin gets more sensitive whenever it's wet and can chafe. It can easily chafe. So if your dog is swimming and the e-collar is too tight and he's doing a lot of running, which causes the prongs to chafe the neck, what you want to be doing is moving the e-collar around the neck consistently on a day that the dog is swimming, or take it off every now and then so the dog can dry it out. So at the bottom, there's a little flap here. If you flip it up, and this guy plugs in there, and then it comes with a micro USB, and the transmitter, same thing. There's a little flap, you flip that down, you can plug this in, okay? Earlier we discussed turning it on and turning it off and charging it. Now I want to show you guys what a fully charged e-collar looks like and one that needs to be charged. Okay, red light means we need to be charged. A green light means we're good to go. So I plug this guy in. Alright, I'm gonna put my micro USB together. Kind of get tangled up really easily from being packaged. Alright, I'll make some space, plug this guy in. Okay, USB, or micro USB. Red light means I need battery. Alright, and then I turn it on. But you can see my battery is completely full. So it could charge a little more, but it doesn't necessarily need it. And if you watch, this green light will flash. That green light means I'm good to go. This is a micro USB. You see the green light flash? This battery is also good. This is for our smaller dog breeds. This is our typical collar. So I'm gonna turn it on. Let's see the flash. Okay, green light means we're good to go. And then we're gonna try this one. Turn it on. Green light means we're good to go. So all these are good to go. If they weren't, if one of them wasn't fully charged, it would go orange, which means we need to charge it very soon, but we probably have another 10, 15 minutes of battery left. If it's flashing red, you need to get back home quick, or understand that you're gonna run out of battery in probably 30 to 60 seconds. So red means that it is definitely about to die on you. So sometimes you're gonna have 2 dogs, and this transmitter can be programmed for 2 dogs instead of just 1 dog. You see at the top, we just have 1D flashing. We don't have a 2D at the bottom of the screen. So that's what we're gonna put on there. I'll click and hold the on-off button. And then while I'm holding the on-off button, I'm going to click and hold the black center button and the bottom red button. I'm just gonna hold it until a little tone will sound. So here we go. I'm gonna click and hold, on, off, top, bottom, we hold it. Okay, that little sound goes, chimes in, and now you can see we have 1 and 2 dog flashing. So now my 1 dog, I have the red, I have the 2D, and then I have black, the 1D. So we have momentary, see the M? On momentary stem, you can click the button and hold it, but it's only going to flash. It's only gonna be oh, let me shut this light off real quick. Okay, so I can have momentary stem where I just tap the e-collar, even though I'm holding it, it only just does a momentary stem. So what we typically change that to is a continuous stem. Because on a continuous stem, you can click and hold the button and it's gonna stay on for 10 seconds, or we can tap it. So it's a little bit better than momentary stem because it gives us more options. To change this button here to momentary stem, I'm gonna click and hold the program button, and then I'm going to just tap the button I wanna change, and you can see how it's going from C, M, V, T, back in a cycle. I want it to go to C, continuous. Now I can click and hold. Now I have continuous stimulation for 10 seconds, which is really important if My dog is running away into the middle of the street. I click the e-collar. He's not feeling it, so I need to go up, but I don't want to let off stem. So now I can click, hold, and scroll up on that e-collar until the dog starts to come back to me. So that's one of our favorites to use. In the middle, typically I like to keep it at vibrate. Vibrate, there's only one setting for vibration. If you're on a level 100 for stimulation, and then you tap vibrate, it's just gonna be the same old vibration. The vibration level doesn't increase or decrease in intensity. I like to use vibration. If I say come and the dog is laying down, doesn't wanna come, you can click and hold the vibration. When you say come, then he'll feel that, and typically that's enough to get him up if you don't wanna use stim, or if you have a dog that's too sensitive to stim or shuts down when they feel it. Also use vibration when I'm trying to get movement. So if I need that dog to move, he's too close to me, or I need him to come, so I need him to get away from me, or I need him to come towards me, I'll just click the vibration button and then get that movement. So, but those are typically our number one that we do, and that's just how I'm gonna teach you guys, is continuous and vibration. And you can, if you're holding the transmitter and it's easier for you to press one of these buttons, like in the center here, then you can put this button as continuous and this button as vibration. Really, whatever is comfortable for you. Some people, they have trouble holding this button down and scrolling, so they'll kind of twist the transmitter in their hand where these fingers rest on those buttons, and then they'll scroll up like this. And then other people who it's more comfortable to hold it in their hand like this, they're able to scroll up and tap the button. So it just depends on your preference. Now there's a really cool feature, and it's a light that comes on the receiver. At night, sometimes on the ranch, I'll let my dogs out and it's pitch black out there, so whenever they're in the woods or the deep brush, I'm not able to see them, which is kind of scary, especially if I can see a skunk but I can't see my dogs. So this really cool feature on the receiver allows you to turn on the light at night to be able to see your dogs running around. What you do is you click and hold the on-off button, and then if you have a 2-dog remote, you want to tap either dog 1 or dog 2. So I'm going to do dog 1 first. I'm going to click and hold, and then I tap, and then we have a flash. So every couple of seconds it'll just flash, and if I click and hold and tap it again, then it'll be a continuous light. I'll click and hold, shut it off again, boom, and it's done. So that's a really cool feature. I don't use it too much, but when I do use it, I'm extremely thankful that I have it. Then if you have a 1-dog remote, very easy. All you do is tap the button once, it flashes. We tap it again, it's gonna turn on. And if I tap it one more time, boom, it shuts off.
The on-off button.
Right. Tapping the on-off button.
Right.
So, how to hold the transmitter. You can take your hand, place it in your hand, and you can wrap your fingers around it, kind of like you're gripping it hard. And then our thumb, what we want to do is position the transmitter to where our thumb can comfortably rest on the bottom of it. So I can move it, I had to move it up a little bit, and now I want the tip of my pinky nail, or my thumbnail, pressed into the bottom of the dial. So then, in one thumb motion, I can just push my thumb up, okay? And keep contact with the dial as I'm scrolling, and then I can get these big scrolls where I get to a 66 or some high number. So this is how we want to do it. And then while you're holding it like this, what button is easier for you to press? Is it this one? Is it this one? And if you really struggle with scrolling and clicking and holding, no worries. You can just scroll it and then click. Ideally, we want to click, hold, and scroll, but if you're not able, it's not that big of a problem. The dial is going to be a little stiff. We want it to be stiff. Oftentimes, if you have it around your neck, you're going to bump this dial and it's going to go up or down quite consistently and regularly. So you're going to have to be aware of what number you're on before you use it at all times. And the dial being stiff kind of makes sure that we don't get to too high of a level on accident. It really mitigates the amount of accidents that can happen. So you know how to scroll it, you know how to hold it. Now we're going to move on to how to use it. What I want you to do is put this receiver in your hand like this, we have a lot of meat right here. Put the prongs right on that. Boom. And then we can just wrap our fingers around. You don't need to press it tight. Just a simple contact. It doesn't have to be too firm. What I want you to do is find your working level. Your working level is the lowest level that you feel the stimulation. That's it. So what we're gonna do is we're going to go to a level 1. Tap the e-collar. Okay, I don't feel it. Level 2. Click and hold the e-collar. I don't feel it. See, level 3. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna keep going up one level at a time until I feel it. There's a 4, 5, okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, I start to feel a 10 right there. I can barely feel it. A little slight tingle in my fingers. So level 10 would be my working level. That's the level I would feel. Okay, now that you have your working level, what I want you to do is just practice going to a 0, clicking and holding, and then scrolling to that working level, and then once you feel it, let off. Then I want you to return back to 0. So we're gonna click, hold, scroll, feel your working level, boom, once I feel it, I let off, I go back down to 0, and then restart. I just want you to practice by doing this. The other way, if you're not comfortable doing that, what you can do as well is just click, hold, and then scroll without finding your working level. That could be a little more intense. So just click, hold, scroll, get to a level 30, go back down to a 0. Click, hold, scroll, get to a level 30 again. It's gonna be higher, boom, and then go back down to 0. And then be lenient on yourself. You don't have to get to 30 exactly. I just want you to click, hold, scroll, and get within that vicinity of a 30. So 27, so be it. A 32, so be it. But what I really need, what we want to get, is a steady, slow scroll. Not too fast, slow and under control, kind of at that speed there. So far, we've gone over how to pair the receiver and the transmitter together, how to use the charging station to charge both the receiver and the transmitter. We've gone over the receiver being completely waterproof and the transmitter being water resistant. So it's not waterproof, it's water resistant. You don't want to be swimming in this, but it can get wet. And we've gone over some of the drills to do to get comfortable using the transmitter and the receiver before we have to use it on our dog. To recap those drills, it's simply have your thumb at the bottom of the dial, scroll up as high as you can, and back down, and you're just gonna do this about 10 to 20 times. And if you're really straining, you can use 2 hands. Don't hurt yourself doing this. It's a super simple drill, so don't try to rush through it. Then from there, we're going to click and hold one of the buttons and scroll up. Get as high as we can, and then back down. You're gonna do this another 10 to 20 times, okay? And then what I wanna do is focus on the speed in which we're scrolling. So we're gonna click, hold, and scroll, and then we're gonna try to get to 20 within 3 seconds. Something like that. Super slow. Click, hold, scroll, we're going up. 20, and back down. And when you scroll back down, you can let off the stimulation. You don't need to have the stimulation on when you're going back down. It's really important to get good using the transmitter. To getting good, it should be just second nature to you to click the button, to hold the button, and to scroll, or to simply scroll and click the button, and then always return it to a 0. It's super important because if your dog is jumping on a counter, or your grandma or friends just walk through the door and you're busy doing dishes, and then your pup sprints forward and hasn't been checked and has been playing with a toy, and you just let him in outside so their energy's high, and then grandma or your friends walk through the door, and then your dog sprints up and just jumps on him, boom. And you were reaching for it, you saw him running, but you weren't quick enough to grab the transmitter and click the button, or you weren't comfortable enough with scrolling and clicking before she got there, you're gonna miss a great opportunity. So that happens few and far between, but the point is we wanna make sure that we know and are comfortable, we know how to use a transmitter, how to use the receiver, and we're comfortable using both before we get into a situation where it's really important that we do need to know how to use it. So these drills will make the difference. Whenever we start doing it in person, whenever you guys have this down, the lessons just fly by so easily. So this really is the hardest part about what we teach, and just about everybody's opinion that I teach. So it's going to be really important to take this part seriously or sincerely.